I always like starting my analysis with a quote. And so the quote for today is that hakuna mkate ngumu mbele ya chai. You know, that quote is very powerful and so significant, especially now that we are seeing the bread and the tea being put on the table. And so the battle of the bread and tea is on. You know, in the history of Kenya, I've never seen Kikuyus in opposition. They have never opposed. Have you ever seen the Kikuyus in opposition? They haven't.
Sababu mojawapo ambayo imefanya Jeremiah Kioni akuwe suspended ni kwenda kuongea maneno ambayo sio msimamo wa chama.
Let Kioni know Jubilee Party is not his own kiosk. He has never called us for any PG. He has never given us a party direction.
They do not have any skill in opposing the government. And so it tells you definitely that come rain, come sunshine, you know, a Kikuyu will never allow himself or herself to be in the opposition because they know the worth that comes with being in the government. They know the niceties, they know the political rewards that come with the government. As a matter of fact, you know, that is where they belong. And so in this analysis, you know, I want to tell you with surety that Ruto has managed to send Raila to his default setting. And if you look at our videos, you know, these videos I do are connected and they flow. There is a video I told you that, you know, the kind of tactics that Ruto employed are tactics which were actually forward thinking and are based within the concept of strategic thinking. Raila is back to the normal practice of politics that he is used to, the usual people that he is used to. I am seeing a situation where going forward, we are likely to see even some of the leaders who are backing Kalonzo Musyoka starting to rebel against Kalonzo's moves and actually pressurizing him to join William Ruto or work with the government. You know, that is a possibility that it's just a matter of time for us to see. And we will have the concreteness of it the moment you shall have seen the kind of force that Raila is driving the opposition with now, going down and down, and more establishments are made, especially in the government's party, which is the UDA, of course, the general outlay of government. Now, there is one implication which is attached to this move. And the implication is that Raila and the core are going to be so weak to the extent that, you know, driving the agenda of the opposition for this time round, it will not be very easy. Now listen, I know very well that Raila Odinga is a man who can re-engineer himself, and I've made a lot of videos trying to tell you how Raila is a force in politics, but this time it is not business as usual. So the first implication is to weaken Raila. You know, for now, the way these leaders are joining the government, you know, it will not give room for Raila to have that maximum force to the extent that if he were to be the one who will go to the government and negotiate behind the scenes a deal to have a framework under which the opposition would be working in tandem with the government, like in the case where we see constructive dialogue taking place, and even having another handshake, it will be a different story. But look at this case, you know, these leaders have left Raila in the cold. And as a matter of fact, they are going into the government without even hinting to Raila that, you know, they are going to the government. You listen to what Raila was saying yesterday when he was actually kind of reprimanding Jalango. He was saying, if you are to go to the government, if you are to go to State House, go there as an invited guest, but do not go there with any motive to actually discredit where you are from and trying to seek sympathy for you to be accepted on the other side.
And politics and development are intertwined. Politics and development are intertwined like two mating dogs. Samashikana.
These leaders are moving away from the opposition on their independence, the autonomy, the kind of autonomy that they have as they move to the government is going to make Raila and co not to be actively consolidated to push any agenda forward. And this is actually the idea behind the tactic that Ruto is using. You know, at the end of the day, Ruto will want to see that Raila has no force to even go and seek a compelling reason to dialogue with the government on his basis or as an individual, and actually try to align everything. Like, for example, if he were to carry all the Azimio, then he's the one who is championing for a cause. You know, if Ruto drags the agenda of the opposition, one of the tactics would be to kind of try to disintegrate the member. And there are so many leaders who can actually be thrown to a bait, and the moment they gobble the actually the debate, you know, they are caught. And once they are caught, you know, it's game over. So weakening Raila in this case is one of the priorities or the tactics of William Ruto. And the moment he weakens Raila more and more, like we are seeing Jubilee is going to disintegrate from Azimio, the more Raila will not be able to re-engineer himself perfectly well. The next step would be us seeing Ruto now focusing on Kalonzo's team, you know, the Cumberland. And this would be kind of a game choreographed so well to ensure that, you know, after that, there would be no room left for Raila to stand on its own and to have a ground that can move strongly. The moment Kikuyus have not backed something, you know, there is a high chance of that thing remaining steadfastly in opposition or not perfectly meeting the goal at the end of the day. But you know, it is very difficult for opposition to overwhelm the government. You can only overwhelm the government when you bring a serious revolution. But without a serious revolution, it is very difficult to overwhelm the government. And the government, like they always say, has long arms, you know. They can accommodate a lot. And if the government finds that, you know, we have an opportunity to get hold of some key leaders in the opposition in order to make the opposition weak, it will be a swift move. And the moment they take that opportunity, the moment they grab it, it is game over for the opposition. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you know, it is game over. They always say that William Ruto is a student of Moi's politics. So, William Ruto is a student of the professor of politics, you know. And so, this is one of the ways he's playing his games. And as a matter of fact, in one of the videos I was telling you how Ruto is always very hungry for politicians who can be bought. And if he sees that you can actually be bought, then he allows himself to go extravagant. When he goes extravagant in you, I mean, you cannot ignore him. You cannot reject it. You cannot reject his offer. So this is a businessman. So this is a businessman who has come into governance, and he finds that, you know, business can do well when he aligns his tactics to whatever political gain that he intends. And that is what exactly is happening. So in the case of Raila Odinga, Ruto has sent him to the default setting. After being sent to the default setting, it will be the usual game. It will be the usual norm. It will be the usual thing. And so Raila will still remain in opposition. All the people who will stick by him will generally have to accept that we are in the opposition. And it will play like that until 2027. And then we go for another election. We see another different thing. And the story continues. So ladies and gentlemen, like they always say, nyani ni wale wale, na msitu ni ule ule. I don't know what you think. I don't know what you have from your side. Let's meet in the next analysis.